but not in our area. Changed the weather in the southeast quite a bit, wetter and colder. And at that point, we're 10 days out here. We're at January 15th, and we're getting into a southwesterly flow ahead of the next storm system, which makes me think that somewhere in January 15th to January 20th timeframe, we're going to have some very mild, I guess what we would call warm weather for mid-January, talking highs in the 40s and maybe some places getting into the 50s for a day or two. Now, let's again continue to look out and see when we will find winter, and we will find winter. Remember, the early forecasts seem to be sticking with what we talked about, an up and down winter. We had a fairly mild December. We had 2 weeks of pretty harsh cold. Now it's turned around. It looks like it's going to be a very mild to warm January. And if winter comes back, then it would be in February. So what we're looking at here is a surface temperature anomaly out about 16 days. Okay. And if you see the oranges, we're warmer than normal. If you see the blues, we are cooler than normal. And we're into next week, Thursday and Friday. And we're at January 15th. And look at how that warmth is starting to build across southern Canada and drop south. Right there, we're at January 18th. And that shows about 10 degrees Celsius warmer than normal at the surface, which would be about 15 degrees warmer than normal. At that time, our normal high in the upper 20s, so you add 15 onto that, and you're into the low 40s easily, and you get some sunshine and in the middle of the day, and you get to 45 or maybe 50. And now we're at January 20th, and look at that. No winter cold anywhere in sight. Ken Forsyth says, do I need to cut the grass? Not yet. Let's hope we get winter back, because if we do this in February, then we got some problems. We got some fruit tree problems. We got some vegetation problems being forced out. So let's keep an eye on it. Total snowfall over the next 10 days, according to the European. Well, you saw not many storm systems, but when you're talking 1 to 3 inches in the northern part of the state and less than an inch in 10 days in the middle of January, early to mid-January, that is a really bizarre forecast. At minimum, this whole area would probably have at least 3 inches of snow and a quiet weather pattern. Of course, we could certainly have 6 to 12 inches in a 10-day period or more. Now, here are the high temperatures for today. Again, pretty mild. Upper 30s from Saginaw to Flint to Ann Arbor and Detroit and Jackson, Lansing, Grand Rapids about 34. Northern Lower Michigan, Traverse City, right about the freezing mark. Northern Lower will be a little chilly. Saturday, a little cooler, but still about the freezing mark, at least in most places. Sunday, back to the mid to upper 30s. Monday, into the low 40s, southern half of Lower Michigan. Tuesday, in the 40s from Grand Rapids to Flint southward, otherwise in the 30s. Wednesday, 30s to low 40s. Thursday, upper 30s to low 40s. Friday, same. Getting out there, January 14th, January 15th. And again, that's my thesis of where we start to get into a little bit of a sustained several-day southwesterly flow, which makes me think 15th on could be quite mild to, I guess, what we would classically call warm for this time of the year. There you have it. I can't even repair any Maytag appliances because I don't know how to do that, but I'll just sit in the corner watching for some weather. And I'll be honest, I do enjoy stretches of quiet weather when it could be nasty too, because I know it will turn around, and I know that at some point we pay for this. And it doesn't mean that we have to pay in a severe way, and it doesn't really actually mean we have to pay, because we do know one thing. We do know that the atmosphere is warmer. We do know that the polar regions are warming the fastest, and that's our source for cold. And if you get those regions at 10 or 15 or 20 degrees warmer than normal, it's still cold up there, but it's not a source reason. It's not like you can open up the refrigerator and the cold air flows out. So it's conceivable that we don't have to go back in the winter for better or for worse. Ice fishermen, ice fisherwomen, start thinking about where the cuts off the Great Lakes open up first, and you can throw a line out into open water, because it certainly looks like the ice will be nowhere near safe um, anytime soon, at least for 2 or 3 weeks. And I would say the ice is degrading in any place that there is. So stay off of that, and maybe get ready to shift gears in a few days. I'm hearing that some of the cuts in the Saginaw Bay may open up, and then you're not ice fishing. You're fishing a line in the water, open water, on the cut. So there's your weather update for Friday. Hey, have yourselves a great weekend. You don't have to see me, and that's a good thing. It's kind of like if Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel shows up in your town, you know you got real weather problems. If I show up on your Facebook feed on the weekend, you know you got weather problems, and I won't this weekend. So take care. Have yourselves a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa.